Hi guys, I'm Chris,
And I'm Mike.
and welcome back to this week's No Limits, a Mid-Trap podcast. How you doing this week, Mike?
All right. Busy week. But I'm glad we're doing something a little bit different here on the pod. That should be a bit of fun. What's going on with you?
Nothing much, just getting ready for Christmas. This episode will come out after Christmas, so
Right.
say it now. I hope you all had a nice holiday, enjoyed with your family. I'm gearing up to head to my family. Got to wrap up some things at work tomorrow, and then head up to Pennsylvania. What about you, Mike?
There we go. Well, we're going to stay local for Christmas Day. And then the day after, head up to New York to see my family, my nieces, and my brother just moved into a new house. So,
Nice.
yeah, it'll be fun seeing everybody over there.
Cool.
Yeah. Hey, man, let's jump right into it. Why don't you tell the folks what we're doing today?
Right, so we wanted to do something a little different. We wanted to do a mailbag, but can't get enough mailbag questions. But what we do have for you today is a fan appreciation. So Mike's come up with a bunch of stuff from our various platforms. We just want to do something fun, something different, light in between these last two books that we have covered, and give you something to listen to if you would need an escape from your family the week in between Christmas and New Year's.
Put in your headphones, spend that quality time with us, forget your family.
Yeah, just if you need to go on like a 45-minute walk, we'll have some entertainment for you.
Yeah, listen at speed and a half, so it'll only take you 30 minutes.
We can sound really drunk when you listen to half speed,
Did you ever listen at half speed to us? We don't sound as drunk as some podcasts out there do.
No, I think because both me and you tend to naturally talk fast, so
Right.
I listened to us at a 2 times speed, and I was like, "Wow, I talk really fast. I should probably slow down."
Yeah, I think
no,
you're right
like
about
some podcasts, I listen to half speed, and it's hilarious. Have you seen what's his name? Tom Hanks' son does this, like, I don't know, not Vine, but I guess Instagram videos,
No.
where he'll have like a drunk conversation with someone, like just between himself and like two people that are like, he'll play a podcast at half speed, and he'll find like times and situations where they're saying stuff, and it's like it sounds like a conversation between him and somebody else. It's so funny.
Hold on, here's a question for you, though. If we get really drunk and record, would someone listening in double speed hear us as sober? Does the inverse work?
I don't know. That's like if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? Question. We'll never know.
If Mid-Trap shoots somebody in the woods and no one's around to witness it, I don't know where I'm going with that.
Did it actually happen?
Well, dude, you're right. I wanted to do a social media roundup. You remember in the early days, our first like 20-something episodes, we had a little segment calling out Twitter followers and, who we're interacting with online. I feel like today can be a throwback to some of that, shouting out some of the awesome people we've met doing this project.
Sounds good.
But to celebrate those awesome people, I'd like to kick off this episode with a limerick.
Of course.
Of course.
Give us that holiday limerick here.
There once were some listeners of Mid-Trap Pod. It is they whom this week we applaud. An insightful bunch with many a hunch. To them we are grateful and awed.
Very nice.
I like that one.
Again, I'm gonna compile all these into a little book for you, if just for you, and then we can ship a second copy off to the Mid-Trap museum whenever it gets the Vince Lynn Museum whenever it gets instated.
All right. Maybe we'll have to review the limericks. We'll have an episode picking out our favorite limericks.
That's a good one. I personally like the one that you read to Jack Carr that made him cry. No, I'm just it didn't make him cry, but he really appreciated it.
He did appreciate it. I don't remember if he reposted it though once we sent it. So,
or who was it? Was it Kyle when you read it to him? He's like, I've never had poetry read to me, and I didn't imagine that it was going to be read to me by someone like you.
Yeah. Oh, that was good. I probably creeped out a couple of our interviewees.
It's all good. It's our shtick. We're sticking to it.
Oh, it's funny. Well, if you're appreciating this banter, you can let us know that with Apple Podcasts, because we got a new review. After plugging last week that the people can help us out leaving 5 stars, we got another very nice and thoughtful comment. This one is from Mark Elliott, who I believe we also follow on Twitter at Elliott, Mark E1, ELLIOTTMARKE1. And he writes, Mitch Rapp was my first exposure to the military political thriller. Love to hear other fans talking about my favorite character. Also, love the interviews of other authors and their books too. Thank you, Mark. What about this? What if we send Mark a sticker? What if I try to reach out to him and give him a sticker for that awesome Apple Podcast 5-star review?
Let's do it. Anyone who gives us a review from now on gets a sticker. How about that? It's
all right,
paying for reviews. We're not above it. We're not above it.
Well, Apple Podcast, one way to get involved, but we've got some very active Twitter folk and someone who always follows up with us, a patron of the podcast. He followed up to last week's episode about Enemy of the State, telling us his own rankings. So where did we put it last week? You were flirting with the top 5, I think.
For me, it's definitely top 5. It's solidified top 5. And actually, we got reached out by longtime listener Dawn. She said that it's Red War is her favorite, but her second favorite is Enemy of the State.
Wow, of Kyle's books.
I guess I should ask her to clarify that. But she all she said was Enemy of the State is her favorite, second to Red War. So I take that to mean of all of them, but it could be Kyle. So I'll reach out to Dawn and clarify that with her.
That could be all rap books. It's entirely possible. Could just be Kyle's books. Wow. Yeah. I'd love to hear from Dawn which way that could be interpreted. Yeah, but I was talking about Mark, and Mark had Enemy of the State a little lower than you, probably about where I would put it in the 6th spot.
Okay.
Yeah. And he had Lethal Agent up in 3rd.
Yeah, see, it's replacing my Lethal Agent that was in the top 5, and then Lethal Agent got bumped down to like the 6-7 range. It's still like Lethal Agent, and I think Lethal Agent and Enemy of the State are Kyle's 2 best books right now.
Right, I think so too. All right, I'm torn though. Which one is better?
Do you think we said this on our part 1 pod? So now we had Order to Kill sort of near the, I guess not the bottom 5, but just out of the bottom 5. Has Order to Kill now risen a little bit since we finished Enemy of the State?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think a significant jump, because as it stands on its own, it had its flaws in the second half. But yeah.
I think it's middle of the pack, like that, the middle chunk. Not bottom 5, not top 10, but like sort of the middle 15, like 15 to 10.
Looking at Mark Harris, patron and follower, he's got it in the 10 spot, Order to Kill. Here, let me round out his top 10.
Okay, go ahead.
It just gives a little insight here. Memorial Day 1st, Consent to Kill, Lethal Agent, Extreme Measures 4, Transfer of Power 5, Enemy of the State, Enemy at the Gates taking the 7 spot.
Wow.
Yeah, that's high. The Last Man as 8, American Assassin 9, Order to Kill 10. That means to me Term Limits is bumped out of the top 10 somewhere else. The Last Man and American Assassin in the 8-9 spot seem a little low. I don't know. I agree with most of that list, though.
I'm going to be super interested in when we do our episode on our list, because, we need to finish this last book and really get down on what the order of this 20 is. Right.
Hey, thrown back to last week's episode when we finished Enemy of the State. Enemy of the State, that's right. Enemy at the Gates, Enemy at the State.
I know. I've been doing that all
State
this
of
whole
the
month.
Enemy. Yeah. Gates of the State. A book about borders. Audiobooks. We had mentioned a little disappointed in not finding George Goodell on the last couple of books. So we had a bunch of followers chime in with narrators and audiobooks that they really like. We got a couple of good ones here. Carl Smith on Twitter at Swifty4562 says he enjoys Scott Brick's reading of the Orphan X series, Greg Hurwitz. I've heard a lot about it. I haven't read it myself. And then he said, I would listen to either Scott or George read a cereal box.
No, I agree with that take because I've had Scott read a series for me, as I mentioned on the pod, Justin Cronin's vampire series, and I really enjoyed him. He nailed the character. It was kind of this. It's a story that sort of jumps time between the future, the past, and then the far future, and his changing of his voice to be the different characters was very gripping. But it's hard when you start. I feel like it's hard when you start a series with one narrator, and then jump, and then it's even harder when you start with someone who's so good as George Goodell, and then you feel just disappointed when you don't have it. So I guess we were a little bit hard on Scott Brick, but
right. And
I definitely didn't like hearing Armand Schultz read, even though it was the abridged. Did anyone reach out about whether or not they read abridged books?
Yeah, no one chimed in about that scandal. I'm labeling that abridged gate. No,
I don't think anyone actually does, or at least the people in our community do.
Right. Well, if you heard our rant last week about having abridged versions of thriller books and how we are vehemently against it, hit us up with the hashtag. What did I say?
Abridged
gate. We'd love your take on should thriller books have an abridged version to save a precious 2 hours of your time listening to an audiobook? Or do you respect the craft of the author and not choose to arbitrarily cut out an author's pieces of their own work? But we'll leave it at that. Have you read any of the Orphan X series? I haven't.
No, I haven't. But I put it on our list.
Yeah, that's Evan Smoke. I hear a lot about that character, and written by Greg Hurwitz. So apparently Scott Brick does a mean audiobook for that series. Here's another series. I have not listened to any of the audiobooks by Jay Snyder. I don't even think I know Jay Snyder.
No.
Reading the Gray Man series. That was recommended by two people, Mark Janigan at Alls Park PDR and Just Ray at Ray NSB on Twitter. Yeah, Ray even said 1 minute out he's doing right now by Jay Snyder and loving it. So I like the Gray Man. Never did an audiobook, so might have to check that out.
Oh, I have read, I just Googled him real quick. I have read a couple, or listened to a couple of audiobooks by him. He does these NYPD Red books by James. They're like James Patterson, but actually written by Marshall Karp. You know how he does that series where he's like the main author, but someone else writes it.
Okay.
And he's a New Yorker. He has a very New York accent. I like that.
That'd be interesting then, hearing the Gray Man. I don't know if I considered a New York accent. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know him. But we did get one more shout out for our boy George reading The Last Patriot by Brad Thor. He said he's currently on that and recommends that. If you've never done an audiobook or you never heard George, he likes the old man voice, that George brings to that book. So that was Tom Roberts at Black Dog Books 1. So thank you guys to our Twitter followers for jumping in on that convo.
And just another tidbit. I don't know. Did you ever watch the TV show Yu-Gi-Oh?
No, like Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Wasn't that a thing when we were kids?
Yeah, like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Dan Snyder, I was listening to this book and I hear this voice and I was like, why does this voice sound so familiar? And I Googled him at the time and I just re-Googled it and I had already been to the page because he was the voice of Yu-Gi-Oh in the TV series.
Okay. Did you say Dan Snyder? That's the owner of the...
Sorry.
Jay Snyder.
His real name is James Snyder, but he goes by Dan Green. That's his like stage name. So I mixed the two there. Sorry.
Got you. Yes. I don't think an audiobook writer would also own the Washington football team and make a bunch of inappropriate comments.
Yeah, no. Now I remember what I was going to say earlier. Someone said that they like when we interview authors, we need to have another author series. We need to get some more authors on here.
Right, we do. We got to reach out to some folks. I got a couple of ideas, couple of things lined up. Let's make a goal probably January, February. We'll make sure to bring back the author series. Yeah. Good call. Here's an interesting one. I am really excited to bring this one up because Stacy Reller on Twitter at Stacy, StacyReller, she runs the Mitch Rapp Fans account. So at Mitch Rapp Fans. And I always wondered, like, who's behind it? They're really active, just tweeting all things Mitch Rapp. And she's been running a Christmas giveaway, the 12 Days of Rappmas.
I saw that.
Yeah, each day she's been sending out gifts and books and lots of memorabilia. And so I asked her about it. I said, hey, do you want to come on the pod? We'd love to play up what you're doing, let people know about it, celebrate it, let people know about next year. And we weren't able to work that out, but she shared a whole long write-up here about the project and how it works. So I'll just read some of what she told us about and what the project's all about. So she says, I created the Vince Flynn Fans Twitter in 2010 on a Sunday after I went to an American Assassin book signing on a Thursday, the first and only time she met Vince. I created the Twitter since I didn't have one, and there were no fan accounts. I had some friends at the time doing fan Twitters, so I told myself I'll make one for Vince. That year, I picked up a signed copy of American Assassin from Premier Collectibles and gave them away. I've been giving away books and thought in the back of my mind, this is a really positive thing to do, and she started Rappmas. So she calls the people, the followers of the account who participate, assets, and they're in the field, and any asset can win one of the 12-day of Rappmas prizes. She also has been talking with James. James is awesome, who runs the vinceflynn.com website, newsletter, and social media. And she says he's been really supportive of the Rappmas events. And he even came up with Rappy Holidays as a greeting.
That's awesome.
And it was 2015. When The Survivor came out, she was going to launch the event, bought a ton of signed books, and was really excited with Kyle Mills taking over the series. And she could celebrate the transition by giving away a bunch of those signed copies. So, I mean, that's awesome. Just a generous person sharing the love of rap. And she said in 2015, giving away those books leading up to Christmas, Rappmas was born. And every year since, with last year and the pandemic being the exception, she's been running Rappmas, giving away rap books, signed copies to different followers and fans. So that's my hero of the month, just doing that. That's awesome. And she's been showcasing other authors, giving away other books, other thrillers, and just she's having fun, giving gifts and bringing the community together. It's pretty cool.
I read here that she even gave away a Kindle, some Kindles at some point. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. She did Rappmas cards in 2017. She was creating them. I don't know if that was handmade. I haven't seen any of those. She's making bookmarks. She has Rappmas bookmarks. It has all the list of the rap books in order. So I thought maybe we could do a bookmark and sticker exchange with her. We're going to send her some stickers. She'll hit us up with some for bookmarks. And she just loves spreading the holiday cheer and building fun around the Mitch Rapp community. So, Stacy, shout out to you. Awesome project. Rappy holidays. Happy Rappmas. Keep it up. We totally love and support what you're doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Keep it up.
All right. Here's another one that just came out. Just saw this today. A little disappointed. We were late to the game on this. But some guy made a Twitter poll. Who is the best Flynn? With 4 options. Our boy Vince had to be an option. In like Flynn.
I guess.
Is that like In Like Flint, the movie?
I thought it was in like Flynn.
I think it's In Like Flint. Am I wrong?
No, it's in like Flynn.
Oh, In Like Flynn. Oh, no. I think In Like Flint was the Austin Powers. Austin Powers made fun of it. Made a joke about it.
Probably. It's like where you think you're using,
That's right.
a
It was the
phrase.
parody. In Like Flint was the parody, the satire they made about the phrase.
In like Flynn.
Yeah. Or the other options were at Flinny. I don't know who that is. Seems like some random Minnesotan person. Or Errol Flynn. And I paused. I was like, Errol Flynn. That's some old actor, right?
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, I have no idea either. Australian-American actor. Oh, dude, you'd recognize him. Google this guy.
Oh, he was in Robin Hood?
Yeah. Yep. All those old school movies.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've seen some of these with my with my grandfather.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, this at Flinny won 700 something votes in this poll with 33%, and our boy Vince only got 24%. So I'm like,
That's
man,
ridiculous.
we could have whipped up the Mitch Rap community to push and tip that poll over to Vince if we were on it early enough.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. The guy who posted it, Max Von Sideye, at Sven, SVENTYSTNAD, this dude's from Minnesota, and so it started this crazy conversation. I was talking to different people, and someone he follows was like, oh yeah, I knew Vince when he was back bartending in St. Paul. So I chimed in like, yo, that's awesome. Where was it? What were some of the spots? And he's like, oh, this place in St. Paul called Plums. And then the guy who ran the poll comes back and goes, oh, Plums, that's a St. Thomas bar. So apparently the whole school, the St. Thomas Academy, where Vince is an alum, apparently that's their local bar. And he said he knew when Vince was bartending back there. That was just
awesome.
cool hearing and meeting from people who were just like, I grew up with Vince. I knew Vince around town.
I'd love to go to a bar that Vince Flynn was serving me drinks.
Dude, imagine, here's an idea. A Vince Flynn or Mitch Rapp themed bar. All the drinks. Different names of characters, books.
That's a good idea. And you have that what is that statue that's in David's office, just sitting behind the bar.
Dude, absolutely. I'd order a Scott. Scott on the rocks.
What would a Scott on the rocks be?
Scott on the rocks. Just straight up Scotch on the rocks, man. Scott on the rocks.
I like how I think we've talked about this before, but so in the very beginning, right? Mitch's drink of choice was not American Assassin, but
Transfer Power.
Transfer Power. It was Booker's, right?
Booker's bourbon, baby.
It was some bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he stuck with the bourbon for a little bit, and then it switched to vodka. Like that was his thing, was just straight vodka, or like vodka on with some soda or whatever.
He's drinking a lot of beers lately.
He's been drinking a lot of beers.
He was crushing some craft beer with Nicholas Ward up there in the compound.
And at Enemy of the State, he was crushing some beers in Africa.
Right, that's true too. Yeah. And Vince even had him drinking some brews on his back patio at the Annapolis house or the Chesapeake house. He'd sit out the fire pit quite a bit.
I take Mitch as like not like a Bush guy, not like a Milwaukee's Beast kind of guy, but he's not crushing IPAs. Something in between.
And Stan's drinking PBR. You know that.
Yeah, I mean, Mitch is maybe drinking Miller Lite if he feels like it, some Boston Lager, or some maybe Harp, something like that.
I was tracking with the other two. I don't know about that Harp.
You don't like Harp?
Oh, I love Harp. Absolutely. I just don't feel like it would be Mitch's thing.
Is he Irish or is he Italian? What is Mitch? That's a
like
good question.
Ethnically?
Ethnically.
That's a good question.
Well, I guess his mom's French, right?
He speaks Italian. I think he learned that through the Donatella relationship, though.
We should know this.
That we should know. I don't know. I get a feel of like some sort of, like most Americans, some Germanic type of roots.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, we got to look into this.
Get IT on this, please.
So the bar, though, has to have red wine. You cannot be short on red wine because, we'll call that the Irene.
There you go.
You can't run out of wine if Irene's coming around.
At least one glass, maybe two, if shit really hits the fan.
Dude, this whole Twitter poll, though, someone else chimed in. Heather, her screen name or Twitter handle, @ink_drinker_, so ink drinker. But she chimed in and said, Vince may or may not have been the inspiration for one of my children's names. So that is now two people, at least two families we know that have a child named after something in the Vince Flynn universe. Is your family going to be the third on that list, Chris?
Well, that's funny you say that because we were talking about baby names and I was like, what about Mitchell? And I think it just went right over Caroline's head. She didn't say, she said, no, that's a nice name, Didn't.
Have you considered Marcus?
Oh, there you go, Marcus. I was like posing all these names like Marcus, Scott, like those are all the names that were just popping in my head.
Chris's next baby list name, Mitch, Scott, Anna.
Mick.
I don't know about Anna.
It'll be Mick Reavers Furman. There you go.
Donatella.
Or Charlie Wicker. Actually, Charlie is up there, so.
There you go.
Donatella.
Oh man. Well, actually, you're gonna have like 18 more on the way, so you can just go through all these names, right?
No. This is it. Man.
Oh, that's good. Dude, well, those are some of our online peeps who reached out. Oh, one more. Here's another one. You know how every once in a while we fan cast, like to talk about actors and who would play what characters. Jason reached out on Facebook. Jason Wayne Cardoza, awesome dude, always posting about rap. He said he was watching Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. Is that like the second, third? I haven't seen them all.
I haven't either.
I like the first one, but after that, he said there was a guy, John Benjamin Hickey, who played one of the villains, and he said he would make a great Mark Ross.
Dude, I just Googled this guy. I know who he is. I totally agree with this.
Right? I saw that and I was like, perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Perfect. He looks like, some sort of sleazy politician guy,
Right. Trying to be all suave, but is truly an asshole. And he's just going to, pull rank on you and be a dick.
This is the guy that Irene ends up killing, right?
Right. Yeah. Who was VP elect.
When he becomes VP elect. Yeah.
I mean, I saw that guy. So Google him, John Benjamin Hickey. Jump on the Mitch Rap fans Facebook page and let Jason know what you think. But that was one of the better fan castings that I think people have come up with. Because this series is hard. Really, really hard to think of who would act out which of these characters.
Yeah, I just have like images in my head that don't look like actors,
Right.
Generally. But yeah, no, I totally agree. This guy would make a great Mark Ross. That's funny that this guy is thinking about who would be a good Mark Ross, though. He's a real fan.
Remember that one guy who kept chiming in about Chet Bramble?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go onto the Mitch Rap fans Facebook page and just talk about Chet Bramble, of all people. Like, that's the hill I'm dying on.
He's a Victor stan, He wants that completion to a Victor's arc, We don't know where Victor is.
We don't know. We want that story. And then that's like Kent Black. Like, imagine someone being obsessed with Kent Black, random dude who shows up in these two books. Does he come back in Red War? I don't think so.
No, I think he's done.
He's gone. Yeah.
One of those quirky characters you like to point out that
maybe at some point we talk about those like tertiary characters or even like fourth level characters, like deep cut, made an appearance, I think of the lady from the Department of Energy in Memorial Day who's like scanning the crates. Like, she's a total badass, but has absolutely zero significance in the wider rap universe. But it's like, I love characters like that.
Yeah, actually, now that you're thinking about it, we're doing a little casting here. What's her name? Oh, I need to look it up. She's the main. She was the main actress in the second Walking Dead series. What is that? Dawn of the Walking Dead. Did you see that? Or did you see Gone Girl?
I saw parts of the first one. I didn't keep up with it.
Oh, what's her name?
Oh, Gone Girl I saw.
Oh, Carrie Coon? Is that her name?
But who would she play?
No, not Carrie. Oh, Kim Dickens. That's her name. Kim Dickens. I think Kim Dickens would make a good Department of Energy lady.
Now, in Memorial Day, I felt like that lady was a little older, like a little more seasoned.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, well, all right. This Kim Dickens definitely has that. I could see it. I think of this Kim Dickens as...
Oh, she was in House of Cards. That's what it was, yeah.
Was she really? Oh. I think of this one as one of those agents, like a secret... I guess Rivera would be Latina.
Yeah, for sure.
But I kind of think of someone like this as that level of character, like an agent. Oh, you know who she would be?
Could you have Michelle Rodriguez play Agent Rivera? That'd be cool.
Who's that?
That's Letty from the Fast and the Furious movies.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah, the Fast and the Furious chick. Oh, absolutely. That's Agent Rivera. Rap has that fling with Rivera.
He does, yeah.
I guess that's after Act of Treason in the beginning of Protect and Defend.
No, this would be a good episode to do like one-off characters that don't really come, like I always think of that guy who played a huge role in Transfer of Power. He's the guy who like helps him. He used to work in the White House, helps him get in.
Oh, Milt Adams.
Milt Adams.
Okay.
Yes. Who would be Milt Adams?
We don't even need to have another conversation. Milt Adams is the best fourth tier character in the entire series, hands down. Yep. That's it. I'm dead serious.
No, because he plays such a crucial part to that book, but yet he never comes up again. But without him, the book, wouldn't be what it is, So I agree with that.
Dude, it'd be so cool. A passing mention of his passing in the current rap verse. Just somehow that it's like somebody is late to something and they're just like, oh, sorry, I was at Milt's funeral. And then it's never dropped again. You just move on. Like that's just a line of dialogue.
Or you could do it where, how like somehow Mitch is back in the White House. He's in like a room that...
And there's a picture of Milt.
There could be that. Or he like, they do this little like paragraphs where they say, I was once in a room with I was once here one day with, and you don't even have to say his name, but you like give his description, and then, but real readers understand that's Milt Adams, that'd be cool.
Oh, dude. Or if he's at the White House for whatever purpose and like is just passing like a duct on the wall and like out of the corner of his mind is like, yep, I remember being shot at in that duct. Or
yeah, exactly.
Those two SEALs. Was it SEALs or Delta guys who die in the duct?
Right.
Getting shot up. Like a little plaque to them or just a mention of it. Dude, little nuggets like that would be super cool. Good stuff. Well, I mean, today was just something a little different, something a little lighter. Kind of fun. We hope everybody had a good Christmas holiday. And we'll be back with Red War in the new year. I don't know. I don't think I'll be done by the first week of January.
Yeah, I can try to be if you want to. I think we've come out with a couple of podcast ideas from just interacting with this content. So
right,
maybe we latch on one of those. We could. We already did the ranking. Did we do the ranking of all of Vince's books?
I think
we ranked all of his villains. I know we ranked his villains.
That's true. We did do villains. We got to do Kyle's villains after Red War, I guess.
Yeah.
First lines. We've talked about that over previous episodes. But for our favorite opening lines, cold opens of the books.
Yeah, we can easily include that into
prologues, epilogues.
So. Right.
All right. So next week, if we finish Red War, we'll be coming at you with it. If not, we'll pick a thematic topic that we'll just have some banter about.
Yeah, sounds good to me. All right, well, thanks for listening to this. Hope you guys had a great holiday. Hope you're able to, if you needed to escape from your relatives, you had us to listen to for 30 minutes or so. We need to thank our patrons, our special operator, Sherry F., our special agents, Kevin, George, Matt, Dawn, Dennis, Peggy, Ray, Catherine, Bridget, Jeff, and Mark. Subscribe, rate, and review using your favorite podcasting platform. Give us 5 stars on Apple. You can find us at midtrappod.com or on Twitter and Insta at midtrappod. And as always, just let Mitch be Mitch. And a Merry Rapmas and a Happy New Year. Just a disclaimer, this podcast is not affiliated with Vince Flynn, Kyle Mills, or Simon & Schuster, but thank you to them for bringing us the wonderful world of rap. And the music soundtrack is Guerrilla Tactics by Raphael Crooks.